Hey everybody, it's Angela and I am back with another process video. Today I'm going to take this one-off piece of paper from my stash. It is a Kaisercraft just landed world map, and I'm going to cut the bottom sentiments off and pair it instead with a piece of paper from the Studio Calico That-A-Way paper pad. Now I am taking this dark piece and I'm putting this kind of lighter cream map on it, and yes, I'm going to embrace the darkness because my photographs are black and white. So I thought I would go ahead and use this dark background, but that cream colored map does lift it from being too dark. And then I'm going to use my embellishments to, make it pop even further. So as I'm trying to figure out how I want to position these photographs, I'm thinking about not covering up Mexico because that's where these pictures were taken. So I do want to make sure that doesn't get covered up. And then I pulled out here a bunch of Project Life cards from the Becky Higgins Salsa pack. It's a specialty pack so that all the words are in Spanish, so that was perfect. And it has a lot of teals and oranges and yellows that really matched well with the Studio Calico paper pad that I had. So pairing these together just really worked well. And then this card had a nice big sentiment on it that I wanted to kind of use as my title. And I'm just going to go ahead and fussy cut it out. Now you can see that brown on there is actually cork design. And the Salsa collection kit does come with a bunch of cork pieces, and I do wind up using a few of those as well. I don't use cork as much as I used to, but I do love it in small doses, and it lends a lot of texture and stuff to a layout. So these pictures are of a lady making some quesadillas, and my husband and I had been staying in a hacienda, really old hacienda, like over 100 years old, had like 1 foot thick walls. There was no electricity there though, so the host would light kerosene lamps and start a fire in the bedroom at night because it would get really cold up there. And there was a propane shower, so you could get a hot shower, and that was nice. And we had been staying there for a while, just enjoying the local history of the area. And then we finally had to leave and drive back to Puerto Vallarta to fly out. And so as we were driving back, we saw this lady making tortillas along the side of the road. And so we stopped, and she was nice enough. She had some goat cheese, and so she was making the fresh tortillas, and she made us quesadillas. And I loved the stone grinding tool she was doing to knead the masa, and she had a great homemade tortilla press, and so it was fun to watch her making them. And I'm so glad that I took the pictures and that I scrapbooked, because I think that because this was just a simple stop on a drive back, for us to leave, I probably wouldn't remember this if I hadn't have taken the photos, honestly. You're just so bombarded with so many different sights and sounds and so many things going on in a short amount of time when you're traveling that it's just like you can't remember it all. And little memories like this would just slip away, if you don't document with photos. So I'm just so glad that I took a lot of photos then and am able to kind of scrapbook them and relive them when I see these photos and just enjoy it. And I see other things when I look back at photos too that I didn't see in the moment when I was there. So that's interesting as well. And one of the reasons why I like, scrapbooking about my travels and stuff like that. So as you can see here, I did take some of the Studio Calico paper and made some border strips on the top and bottom just to bring those colors of the Project Life cards out. And I've made some nice big photo blocks here. And I just made sure on that bottom right photo that you could see the grinding tool she was using. I didn't cover that up. In the middle, has the tortilla kind of in her hands, she's taking it out, and the top one you can really see that homemade tortilla press that she's using. And so I've got those on there, and I have some Amy Tan puffy stickers, and they have some little cactus on them. And so I thought that would be fun to try to incorporate a couple of those. I try to, but it winds up only being one in the end. But I do get one of those little cactus used up. And that just brings in another texture of those puffy stickers and a little more white, because the cards are white and the map is kind of off-white, so I just wanted to bring some of each color, white and off-white, into the layout. And I think that keeps it from getting too dark, because with these photos, you know, you kind of want to lift them up, and I think this does the trick with all these bright colors. So there is the geotag that I want to put so that it shows where we were at. And I pulled some transparent embellishments from a pink paisley travel pack that I had in my stash. And so I want to use one of these transparent stars, a transparent little banner flag, and a heart in each of these different little clusters. I've got 3 little embellishment clusters kind of going on. I'm just picking out the different items, and I'm trying to think about the colors, you know, pulling different colors from the top to the bottom through those different photo clusters. I'm looking to put an extra piece behind each star just to kind of ground it, ground the little cluster, and it just gives more interest overall to have all these different little items on here. So in order to attach the transparencies, I'm just using my Tim Holtz tiny attacher. Some of them I do put a little bit of double-sided tape behind. And then on this kind of title block piece, I did use a little bit of fun foam just to give this a little bit of lift and dimension. So I'm going to put that there. And I'm really liking how it's coming together. It really flows nicely. So I'm just going to go ahead and commit to my placement on these photo blocks. And on this one, you know, of course, I don't want to cover up my geotag, and I have it go over the border strips a little bit there. And then I go ahead to attach this block down. And as I'm positioning it, I'm, you know, looking how it touches that photo above it. And then I realize, you know what, I need it to come down a little bit. Since the top one goes over those border strips, it would look better if the bottom cluster went over those border strips just a little bit. So that was my thinking on the positioning of those photos. So on this geotag, I do put a little bit of double-sided tape behind it. And then for continuity, I go ahead and I use the tiny attacher on it as well, because it was close enough there, it was easy to put a staple in there. So I'm really liking how that's coming together. And then in the salsa collection, all these other cork pieces are in there. So I pull out a heart, and they only had 2 of the small hearts in there. So I wind up putting one of those in each cluster. And then since the third cluster didn't have a heart, I wind up using one out of a puffy sticker pack. You can see there I've taken, I think those are basic gray letter stickers, and made the word quesadillas that I put down below that central photo. And here's where I take the little puffy heart and put that in that middle cluster. So now each cluster also has a heart. I do wind up outlining the letter stickers of quesadillas, and I also put the word Mexico next to the geotag, and I outline it as well. But I noticed in that central cluster by quesadillas, it really needed a little pop of yellow there. It just looks a little bland since there's no yellow in that corner, and I have a lot of yellow spread out through the rest of those photos. So I'm just kind of creating my own little tab that I can stick behind here. And I know it's just a tiny little touch, but you can see here, it just looks kind of dull right there. And then once I put that little pop of yellow, it just seems to bring that cluster to life. So I go ahead and I do my journaling, and there you can see I did outline the letter stickers, and then that is my completed layout, and I really love how it turned out. So even embracing all that black, which is difficult for me, I think it really worked. So there's the top cluster. There she is with her homemade tortilla press, a little bit of goat cheese next to her. I love all the Spanish sayings in here. There she is with her tortilla, and you can see the grinding stone off to her left, and then the journaling, and there you go. That is another one for my travel binder, so I'm so excited to get that done. And if you have any questions or anything on this, please leave me a comment down below. Give me a thumbs up, that's always helpful, and thank you so much for watching. See you later. Bye.